my soul. God in my trades, that's how I roll. Faith in the Forex, blessings unfold, making his glory known in these markets untold.
What's up, YouTube? I hope y'all doing well, having a good weekend. Trader Vaughn here, back with another video. And today I want to talk about how I made almost $6,000 in a week. And it was a short week for me. I didn't trade that much. Well, I didn't trade certain days because some days I didn't like how it looked, so I don't trade on specific days if I don't see my setup. But I'm not gonna keep talking our ear off. I'm gonna make this quick recap, and we'll go ahead and start. So Monday, March 21st, as y'all can see, I did nothing on this day. I did a slight break of structure right here, and it was valid, but I didn't want to take it, and it just dropped the rest of the day. So Monday I didn't trade. Moving on to Tuesday, I wanted to show y'all my losses. I do have my losses. They're very far in between, but I do have my losses. And the reason why I took this trade is on Tuesday, when it started breaking back up to that supply, it was a 1 hour, 15-minute supply. And as it's going up, it hasn't done any retests on any of the prior structures, right? Not right here, and not right here. It missed it by a tick, and it just kept pushing up. So I'm like, okay, well, I think we're gonna at least come back down and break some structure back down to the downside, get this liquidity, possibly keep pushing up. But Tuesday was just a bullish day, and it really kept going. Like once I got in on this 15-minute candle at 8:45, I was up probably about like $800, maybe $1,000, but it instantly started rejecting back up, and I got out after that trade, and I lost about like $800 during that day. I didn't trade anymore after that. I just didn't want to trade that day, and I told myself I'll just come back tomorrow. And as I'm saying how much I'm winning or losing, I will have a picture up somewhere showing exactly how much I made or what lost. But moving on to Wednesday. Wednesday was a little bit better. As you can see, when I came to the market Wednesday morning, we made a gap up to the top side, breaking structure. So once it got up here, I noticed it was reaching a 1 hour, 4 hour, and a 15-minute supply. And so I'm like, okay, this could potentially keep going to the top side, or we can just slap back down because, you know, we're in a downtrend. So as it shot up at 8:30, I noticed on the 15-minute it didn't want to move past a certain point. So technically it was building some type of support right here. It wasn't breaking this structure, and it was bouncing out this supply zone. So I'm like, okay, this could be potentially building some structure to come back down and fill in this gap it made. So once it got up here around like 9:30, 9:45, I was watching for a final rejection up here, kind of like waiting for it to shoot up one last time and then look for a rejection. And after it did that, let me go to the 5-minute. Once it got up here again around like 9:30, I immediately got in, not on this candle or this one, I got in on this third one right here, because once I saw the rejection, this doji, I'm like, this could keep going up or can slap back down. I waited for this candle to finish printing, because if this candle never printed and it's made this candle instead, I would have gotten in down here, but instead it rejected back up and I didn't get on that candle. Once this third candle printed at 9:45, I got in right when it broke this wick again, and I got out really at this support area it was making, because I wasn't trying to stay in for a long run. I didn't think it was gonna slap back down really Wednesday for the rest of the day, but it did. Um, but I was fine with that. I'm a scalper, you know. I just want to take and grab what I can get and come back tomorrow. I didn't leave any runners, so I think today it was about 13. I made 1400 that day, which was fine. I was able to win back the money I lost last week. I mean, not last week, on Tuesday, so I was fine with that. Moving to Thursday, yeah, Thursday, April 25th. I woke up that morning. I saw we moved to the downside to fill in that gap. And so I'm like, okay, there's two ways, you know, thinking about it. It could keep potentially flushing, or it can come back up and continue to the upside since we're breaking structure to the upside on the higher time frames. So around right here, 8 o'clock, 8:30, I watched this candle being made. I thought when it was coming down here, I'm like, okay, this could be a potential slab to keep pushing to the downside. But once this 15-minute candle rejected and this next one printed, I'm like, yeah, this is gonna explode back up. That was just my instant indication that it was gonna go back up. So once it broke this resistance area, I was just waiting for a continuation candle for it to keep pushing to the top side. And on the 5-minute, that's where I saw it at. I saw this candle right here being produced. And then once this candle slapped back down and rejected back up, I got in off of once it passed this wick. And the rest was history. I kept that trade in because there was a supply up here, kind of like a resistance point up here as well. So this is where my TP was, and you honestly could have kept it in for longer if you want to, because it was gaps to further up as well that it made from Wednesday. But I didn't want to stay in for that long. I didn't think it was going to keep pushing, and you know, who knows what the market might do. So I just want to take my stuff and go. And I think this day I made about $2,000. If I am being exact, but I can't remember. Again, I'll put the screenshot up on the screen so y'all can check it out. And then moving to last day on Friday. Friday was a really good day. It was a quick trade for me, and really that was all I needed. And then Friday was actually the trade of the week. Friday I made about and it's my biggest trade so far ever. I made about $4,500 that day. And what was my indication was seeing this constant just bouncing right here. Once I woke up that Friday morning and saw this constant bouncing, I'm like, okay, it's not breaking above these prior highs it made, and started breaking to the downside. I'm like, okay, this could be potentially going back down to fill in this big gap it made on the 1 hour and 4 hour. So this was a 4 hour 15-minute supply, and at 8:30 I got in exactly at 8:30 market open. You always got to be careful with market opens because you don't know which way that could potentially explode. But in this case, I was waiting for it to shoot up into this area, which it did at market open 8:30, and I got in aggressive. And really the rest was history. Like you can see right here, it took about 15, 30, 45, about an hour to get back down here, and it was a 1 to 7 type trade, almost a 1 to 8. But the reason I wanted to get down here, excuse me, was because one, just seeing the rejections right here, and I wasn't gonna think it was gonna fill in this gap in one day, so I really want to get out at this bank level down here, which was exactly at 39,700. That was all I needed. Really, that was all I cared for. If it kept pushing further down, I was fine with that. I didn't leave any runners on this day either, because with the market, at least with US30, potentially changing structure back to an uptrend, I didn't want to leave any runners, especially if I'm selling. But yeah, that was it for this week. Like I said, Friday was the trade of the week. I caught that early. It was from like 8:30 to about 9, yeah, 9:25. And like I said, it wasn't that hard. It wasn't that it really didn't last that long. I'm always just grateful and happy that my trade went how I wanted it to be. But that was it for this week. I hope y'all, keep learning, keep growing. I'll see y'all next time.